It's called the Magic Mile. Who has the magic today?
Go get that damn lobster already.
Well, I must say, that's great.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway, no doubt a fan favorite racetrack.
Have a good one there, guys.
As far as I'm concerned, I think we should race here 10 times a year.
This track may be short in length, but it has a long history of being one of the most difficult, hard, demanding, treacherous at times. Don't forget the lobster.
The lobster awaits whoever makes it to victory lane.
Finally got that damn lobster. Hell yeah, boy.
Welcome to Around the Track. I'm Kim Coon alongside Ryan Flores, Iowa winner. Congratulations.
Felt good to get that 12 car back in victory lane.
Yeah.
That was cool. The corn was a little suspect to eat some corn in victory lane.
He did eat corn in victory lane.
But yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to these next couple weeks. We've kind of wanted to be a strong team through the summer. That's something we circled in our preseason meeting, and it's showing up.
Good day for Ryan Blaney and his crew. Bad day for the Kyles. Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch both having dismal days at Iowa. But then as we look at other good days, a guy that had a good day, Bubba Pollard.
Yeah, he put some money in the bank at the Money in the Bank race up there at Berlin, so a big win in the super late models for Bubba.
Yeah, took home a $15,000 check. But as we're talking other racing around the country, what else can we look forward to this weekend?
A full slate of racing. We got the ARCA cars in Mid-Ohio, we got NASCAR Canada Series, IMSA, and the Indy cars at one of your favorite tracks, Laguna Seca.
I love that track. We literally have racing coast to coast this weekend, but you mentioned Laguna Seca. I've been there a couple times. It is so beautiful. I wish somehow we could get NASCAR to race that track. There's so many cool elevation changes. It is a very technical track. Opposite of what we're going to see this weekend on the NASCAR side of things. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, short and flat.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, I'll be at Bowman Gray. Speaking of short and flat, I'll be there Saturday night, and you can catch a full slate of action on your Flow Racing app.
Speaking of action, let's take a look back at all the action last year from New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway, no doubt a fan favorite racetrack.
Chandler Smith, John Hunter Nemechek bring the field to the green flag. Back to back for John Hunter Nemechek.
Justin Bonsignor is mired in a 2 and 3 wide battle. Toby the race leader, but Justin Bonsignor is there. Down to the line. Bonsignor on the outside lane, beating and banging on each other, and it's Justin Bonsignor.
As we look at the schedule here for New Hampshire Motor Speedway, I can't help but look back at that last little sizzle we saw that moved Justin Bonsignor pole to win the modified race. It's always so exciting coming down to the wire, and I'm excited to see him in the Xfinity field this weekend.
Yeah, double duty. He's making his Xfinity Series debut, doing it with a great team, JGR, so he has a shot to, I think, win based on his track record on the mod side. But as we talk about the mods being there with NASCAR, they run a completely different tire, different rubber, and so because we're going to see these series go back and forth, what does that mean for the drivers?
Yeah, it's more tricky, I think, in practice and in qualifying, because that's when you go out, the Cup cars will have the track rubbered up, and the Xfinity cars will have the track rubbered up, and then the modifieds will go out. So it's tricky for everyone. They'll go out with their Hoosier tires, and it'll just lose overall grip. Then they'll rubber the track in, then the Cup cars, the Xfinity cars will go back out, and the first couple laps, they won't get a good read on their car. So it definitely throws a wrench in the plans of everybody, but it's something that going to New Hampshire Motor Speedway that you're going to have to deal with.
So let's take a look at the schedule. So the Cup Series, back to our 20-minute practice and qualifying. I know last week they got a little bit of extra time, not the case this weekend, and qualifying is going to be so important because the leaders come fast at New Hampshire.
Yeah, and that first pit stall is huge. This is a track where track position is going to be, like you said, super important. You're going to run this race, you can run it backwards, almost like a road course. It always turns into a fuel mileage race, and it's going to be a lot like what we saw a couple weeks ago at Gateway.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is the forecast has gone back and forth so far this week, but as we look ahead, there might be a chance of rain, and because of the length of this track, there are wet weather tires.
Yeah, New Hampshire's always a place where there's a chance of weather. I think we've gotten rained out there more often than not. But yeah, the good news is we will have wet weather tires. We won't be able to race when it's actively raining, but if the track is wet, we don't have to wait to dry it. We can get fired up and get the action started.
Well, we mentioned Justin Bonsignor earlier. Jacqueline Drake actually caught up with him to get his thoughts as he makes his Xfinity Series debut.
We've got a NASCAR regional driver right here, 3-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion, Justin Bonsignor. You're about to head off to the big times. You're going to do your first ever NASCAR Xfinity Star with Joe Gibbs Racing at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. How does that feel that you're about to take that big leap in your motorsports career and it's finally coming to fruition?
Yeah, we're really excited. It's an awesome opportunity that's come, been presented to us, and to do it at New Hampshire, a track I'm very familiar with. Grew up racing the last 15 years on the modified tour there with a few wins. It'll be awesome to do it in front of the modified community, and on a doubleheader weekend for us. We'll have back-to-back races, so it's really shaping up to be a good event, and just hoping to put on a good showing and make everybody proud.
41 wins in the book for you when it comes to this tour, and now going to compete at such a high level. What do you think you're going to be able, though, to translate from the modified to the Xfinity car, if anything?
I don't think much. If you see here, the cars are very different, and the way we race the modifieds at New Hampshire is kind of like racing a Daytona in a Cup car. It's all pack racing, and obviously the Xfinity cars are not going to be that way. So practice will be limited. I'm going to get a little bit of simulator time at Toyota here before the event, so I'm just hoping to be a sponge and take in as much knowledge and information as I can. Joe Gibbs Racing is a very deep team with a lot of experience, and they got a lot of tools that I can and people to lean on and hopefully expedite that learning curve. So just more than anything, looking to have a good time, hopefully have a good solid run, not make any mistakes on my end on pit road or anything stupid on the racetrack, and hopefully be in position to contend for a good finish or even a win at the end of the day.
Joe Gibbs definitely does have a thick notebook when it comes to getting prepared, and you preparing that simulator should be a great experience for you. But with your history, for fans that maybe have never heard of you, what would you like them to know about you?
Just a guy that's everyday blue-collar guy that goes to work. That's how this whole modified series is. It's a great series in that aspect, and just been racing since I was a little kid. I grew up in it, met my wife in it. My parents met racing, so just a racing family for 2 or 3 generations now, and just like to have fun racing modifieds on the weekend, but really excited for this opportunity to take it to the next level on the national stage.
We are excited to see you all come together for you. Justin Bonsignor, he's going to head off to have his first ever NASCAR Xfinity Star at New Hampshire.
As we look at Justin Bonsignor's stats at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, 2 wins there, but like he said, he's been racing forever. He grew up racing go-karts at Riverhead Raceway. He met Ken Massa there at Riverhead, and that's how they built this 51 team. I texted him this week, and I said, good luck and enjoy it. I hope he enjoys this. It's such a big step, and man, I think that he can be a contender. I
think so too, and he's looking to defend his modified win. But as we look at him making his debut in the Xfinity Series, what stood out to me both in Jacqueline's interview and just looking at some of his preview for the weekend, he didn't make anything about him. It was, what can I do to shine a light on all of the talent that's in the Northeast? And for me, that's such a unique thing to hear a driver say.
Yeah, I think, the modified garage is they're so tenacious. You know, they rough each other up, and they might even fight each other in the pits, but if they see each other, with a flat tire on the way home, they'll pull over and help each other. And that's how most of the short track community is. When they're
tight-knit.
Yeah, when they're competing against each other, it's pretty brash and it's pretty fierce. But outside of the racetrack, they're all one big family. So I'm excited to get to New Hampshire. I'll definitely be tuned in on Saturday to see how Justin does in that Joe Gibbs 19.
Yeah, and Justin's not the only one pulling double duty in the modified race and a NASCAR National Series at New Hampshire. Ryan Preece is also pulling double duty at his home racetrack.
Here comes Bonsignor down on the bottom. Preece runs to the bottom as well. At the line, it'll be Ryan Preece.
When we finally won the modified race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in 2021, it's been a race for when you grow up in the Northeast. Loudon, everybody says it's like the Daytona for the modified tour. So to finally be able to win that race and do it in the fashion that we did, it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to all my team and the fans that's been supporting me, because for years I felt like it was thirds and seconds, and you just never know if you'll be able to actually do it. So it was great to do it.
As we look at Ryan Preece's stats when it comes to the wheel and modified at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, starts 26th. A win there, and this is a racetrack that he's been going to since he was little. He talks about going with his dad and his grandfather. Yeah,
this is a place where Ryan Preece is looking to right the ship. Obviously, tough news that Stuart-Haas is shutting down, but don't forget, he's a guy that bet on himself in that Joe Gibbs car, just like Justin Bonsignor is doing this weekend, and won. Yeah. He's won in the Truck Series, and he is a dog. Like, he is a very good race car driver. The Cup Series can just beat you down. But we have seen those Stuart-Haas cars go through peaks and valleys and be fast some weekends. And I think back to when Eric Almirola won this race in the 10 car. This is a place where Ryan Preece, if he has a good weekend, and he showed it maybe last year in Martinsville where they were super fast, had a pit road penalty, and it set him back. He can do that again this weekend or any weekend, and I look for him to maybe get the victory lane, not only in a modified race, but in the Cup race this weekend.
So this could be kind of an audition for where he lands next.
Oh, those guys are all racing for their jobs for sure.
Yeah, and the good thing is he's raced in so many different series here and so many times at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. He knows what he needs to be fast on the racetrack regardless of what he's in.
Yeah, and another guy that knows what he needs to be fast on the racetrack is Chase Briscoe, so he tells us about New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
New Hampshire definitely feels like, the restarts are obviously the best opportunity to pass. That track, at least last year, kind of widened out quite a bit, so it was a little bit easier to pass than normal, but typically there, you kind of have 5 laps to get what you can, and after that, we're all kind of spread out, and it's hard to really get going anywhere just because we all start shifting and stuff. So, yeah, restarts are the most important part of every weekend, but definitely in New Hampshire, they're extra important just because it is a little bit harder to pass at times.
Well, as Briscoe just mentioned, the restarts, they are wild at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Last year, we saw a huge stack up in the Xfinity race, and it seems like the track's very narrow, so when something happens, everything gets bottled up.
Yeah, and it's super flat, so you can't really see anything in front of you except for the next car, and when they do start wrecking, you just pile right into it. We see it here in a modified race. We've seen it in Xfinity trucks and the Cup race. It happens every couple of years. We'll see if it happens again this weekend. But the best way that you can control what you control on restarts is have good pit stops and gain a couple positions. The choose rule, you gain 2 or 3 spots, then you're two rows ahead of where you were essentially. So you want to be good on pit road and give your guy the best possible position for those restarts.
On those restarts, what makes it hard is there's no grip going to turn 1. And as we talk about no grip, there's also no grip across the seams. We see them all over the racetrack, and you really have to brace your car to go over them. What does it feel like as a driver crossing them?
Yeah, if your car's tight or loose, you're loading one tire too much. Say you're loading the right front too much and you hit that seam, it'll make the car take off. It's obviously weather dependent with the sealer they put in it, but the best way to avoid that is to have your car handling, have it balanced to where you're not using too much of the front or too much of the rear. That's the key to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, is having a good balance through the corners.
It's going to be a fun race. Lots of challenges for teams and drivers. After the break, I catch up with Erica in studio to get her odds for this weekend.
Join Todd Gordon and myself each week for NASCAR Inside the Race. We'll break down exactly how the race was won.
Plus, we'll dive into the data and go in depth on race strategies, penalties, and rule changes.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race presented by Consumer Cellular each Tuesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
It's time for Easy Money with E, and we are so lucky this week to have Erica in studio with us to give us our best bets of the weekend for New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And last week, we had some of our tried and trues not have the strong races we wanted, but it wasn't a total loss, right?
Well, so Brad Keselowski sneaked into the top 10, and I was very happy.
So that saved us, right?
That definitely saved us. But it makes me want to bring up a point that I brought up a few weeks ago about patience. Like when you're betting on NASCAR over the course of a season, over any sport over the course of a season, you have to remember that some of your top drivers and athletes might fail you in some weeks. So Hamlin, Truex, shame on you, but it's okay because we're going to be patient. We might go back to them again this week.
Okay, so let's dive into the bets of the weekend, starting with top 5.
Top 5, MTJ, top 5 finisher at -130. In the wake of him announcing his retirement, I think this is very key to talk about him in this spot.
He has all that stress off his shoulders now.
Right, so he better get in top 5 at -130. And then at this track, in 2022, he won the pole here, and then he ended up finishing 4th. Last year, obviously, he won this race. So his track record alone, pun intended, I think makes him a good spot at -130. But if you don't like him, if you don't want to lay that much money on him at -130, then you can always do +265. There's a group bet with him, Seaville, Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney.
Okay.
+265 is a better value if you want to back him in that spot.
Okay, it sounds like you are all in to MTJ this weekend, and he actually falls into one of our head-to-head bets. So is it that easy? Do we pick him for the head-to-head?
It is not that easy, Kim.
It's never that easy.
It's never that easy when it comes to sports betting. So in the head-to-head, I'm going to go Seabell at -125 over Martin Truex Jr. at +105. And this is not me throwing shade at MTJ. This is more of me thinking, okay, look at the races like Gateway and Phoenix that we can kind of compare.
Yeah, the flat tracks.
The flat tracks, yeah, we can compare that to New Hampshire. At Phoenix, obviously, Seabell won. MTJ finished 7th. So a good finish, but Seabell won.
Yeah.
And then at Gateway, Seabell, he finished 7th. MTJ finished 34th. So take those as comps. I'm going to go Seabell at minus money here. And Kim, another spot that I like Seabell in this week is him to finish in the top 3 at +140. Again, more value than the -125. So Seabell +140, top 3 finisher.
Okay, so one head-to-head out of the way. What's the next one?
I'm going to go Logano and Blaney.
We are pitting the teammates against each other. All right, who comes out on top?
Who would you guess I would take?
I mean, I'm going to have to go with Joey. Just his record at New Hampshire is so much better. And Blaney might have a little hangover from that Iowa win. He had 80 friends and family at the racetrack, so he might be feeling it even into this weekend.
So we're feeling the same here, Kim.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Logano. And this is more, again, not fading Blaney. This is more leaning into the plus money. In this spot, Logano's plus 105, and then Blaney's actually minus 125.
Okay.
So kudos to Blaney.
Yeah.
This is all about Logano in this head-to-head this week.
All right, let's open it up to top 10s.
Top 10 finishes. Now, this is a spot that I need for these to hit. So
Okay.
these are my gimme bets for the week. My first one is Chase Elliott at minus 160. My second one is Tyler Reddick at minus 130.
Okay.
Again, Reddick especially. You know, he's a driver who kind of like, you know, hasn't been doing what I need him to do. I need him to do what I need him to do this week, minus 130.
No
Top 10.
pressure, Tyler.
If you're listening, all the pressure. And then for my longer shot, Ryan Preece to be a top 10 finisher at plus 600.
Yeah, hometown guy.
Hometown guy, his friends, his family are going to be there cheering him on with the lobsters in the crowd. Plus 600, $10 bet will win us $70 if he ends up getting into the top 10. I like that spot.
Yeah, it's a good
if
little
you don't want to put
cash-in.
$10, put $2, $5. But yeah, Ryan Preece, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to put my money on Chase Elliott. I like that pick. He's the only driver in the entire field that's finished top 20 in all the races this season. And you know me, I'm a conservative bettor. So
I like that.
That's where my money's going this weekend in bets. Well, it's been so fun to have you. And because you're in town, we want more of you. So you're going to join us back for the final segment of the show.
I will oblige.
All right.
I'll be here.
Can't wait. Thank you for the insight on the bets. After the break, Ryan and I are previewing all the magic happening for race fans who are headed to New Hampshire this weekend.
Hey race fans, Corey the Joy here. Join Ryan, Flores, and myself for Stacking Pennies each week. I'll break down my race and explain what happened right out of my windshield.
Plus, we award the Dogs of the Week for the best pit crews and go in-depth on all the money stops, pit road mistakes, and penalties.
And we've got a ton of guests. We have SVG stopping by. We had Ricky Stenhouse after he punched Kyle Busch in the face. We've had Bubba. We've had all sorts of guys in here in the Nonsense Garage, so you do not want to miss it. Check us out on Sirius XM Channel 90, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. Each and every week, Stacking Pennies. That's what's up.
Well, if you're headed out to New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend, it is the perfect opportunity to take everything in there. It's a great place for fans, and the fans in the local area, they are of a different caliber, super passionate.
Yeah, super passionate race fans, like you said. I've always enjoyed camping there, spent a lot of time there with the Modified Series and the K&N Series, and obviously the Cup Series. They come out in droves ever since
the little
we've-
wagons.
Wagons, bikes, and hey, the X-Lot, shout out to those guys. They know how to party for sure.
Okay, so I guess it gets rowdy out there?
Definitely.
All right, well, maybe a little less rowdy, or if you're looking something to do that's calm, Ryan Preece is doing a track walk on Saturday before the Cup Series practice. And I don't know that it's often that fans get to do a track walk with a driver. Now, they let fans on racetracks all the time, and drivers do their own track walks, but you actually get to go over the surface with Ryan.
Yeah, he gets to explain the intricacies of his home track. He's won there on a modified. He's had success there in all 3 series, but he'll get to explain those seams that we talked about.
Yep.
The other thing, they'll have some open wheel dirt track racing outside of the racetrack. They built a dirt track, a small flat track in the campground area. And over by there is the New England Racing Museum. Dick Bergen has done a great job setting that up as well. So a lot of really cool things to check out. You can go to nhms.com to see a full slate of what the Magic Mile has to offer this weekend.
It's time to give our race picks for this weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We have welcomed back in Erica, so I'm going to give you first dibs. Who are you picking for New Hampshire winner?
Now, you guys know from a betting perspective, picking an outright winner is not my favorite thing, but I was forced, so I'm going to go Seabell. I like his chances this weekend.
Okay.
I'm staying right with her. Christopher Bell, we call him the Loudon Whisperer. He's got wins here in all 3 series trucks. All of his Xfinity starts ended in wins, and he had to pull here last year. They had a little bit of pit road trouble, but every time he gets the Magic Mile, he is the guy.
I'm going to preface this by saying we did not know each other's picks. I also had Seabell as my race winner. You mentioned his record in the other series. In 3 Xfinity Series starts, 3 wins. So he has dominated there. And then Cup, a win and a runner-up finish. And then they overcame so much adversity last weekend. I think that kind of spills into this weekend. They have a little momentum headed into New Hampshire.
Absolutely. Those Gibbs cars weren't as strong as they want to be, so you know they'll be looking to rebound.
Well, just like at the end of a race, the white flag waves. It also waves on our show, and this week I have a bit of trivia for you guys.
Some nuggets, if you will.
Some nuggets. We love a little nugget package here.
hear
All
it.
right, so we all know that a lobster is given to the winner in Victory Lane at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but what is the animal that plays the official mascot of New Hampshire Motor Speedway?
Do you know this one?
I do not know. Let's call a lifeline unless you know.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. It is a moose.
It is a moose. Do you know his name?
I do not know his name, but I would guess from the name of the, it's got something to do with the name of the racetrack, so either Magic or Miles.
Good, close. Magic Mike. Milo the moose.
Okay, close.
Is the official mascot of the racetrack.
I have taken my picture with the lobster, but I don't know if I've ever taken my picture with Milo, so maybe if we win this weekend, I'll get
That is what you have to do this weekend.
A selfie in Victory Lane.
All right, we'll look for the selfie with Ryan and Milo the moose. And thanks for joining us this week. Erica, it was great to have you in studio.
So much fun being here. Looking forward to Nashville. Thanks to my teammate for saving us on the white flag.
Yeah, awesome to have you, and we'll take you next week to the Music City. Join us back here at Around the Track.